Hi, it's Kathy, and I thought I would just pop along and tell you about the last book that I have just finished. So this is the first book that I've finished for January, and it is one of my book club books, and it is called Bewilderment by Richard Powers. Now, I haven't read any of his books before, but it does say as well that he is a winner of the Pulitzer Prize, not for this book, but for a different book. He has written a number of other books. There was 3 Farmers on Their Way to a Dance, Prisoner's Dilemma, The Gold Bug Variations, Operation Wandering Soul, Gain, The Ploughing the Dark, The Time of Our Singing, and a few more. But I haven't read any of those. So I was going into this totally unknown, not really... Well, I didn't really have anything to think about. I just read on the back there is a blurb from Barack Obama on the back that says, "It changed how I thought about the earth and our place in it." So I kind of thought, well, that's a pretty big praise, an interesting kind of concept from Barack Obama. And what will I say about this book? So this is a book. What's the premise of it? The premise of it is there is a father who is a scientist, an astrobiologist or an astrophysicist, and he's a widow. His wife died, I think, about 3 years ago, and he is raising his son. His son is, not that it actually says in the book, but his son might be on the spectrum, and it looks at, I guess, just the relationship between him and his son, and raising his child alongside work, and I guess treatment for his son, kind of like he's knocking back the concept of wanting to give his son any medicine, kind of like traditional kind of tablets. So he does find a new, I guess a new technique, a new treatment through the university that he is trialing with his son. Now, this book is, 277 pages. That is 277 pages of very science-heavy kind of story. I mean, I did like the story. I was interested in it. I was not hugely invested in the sciencey kind of discussion. It's not the kind of book that I would choose to pick up. If it was on the bookshelf, I probably wouldn't have picked this up myself to read. I think that there are chapters that are just about the father-son relationship. There are chapters then interspersed with it where he talks to his son about all the planets that are out in the solar system, and they talk about imaginary planets and the lives that might possibly be happening on those planets. I guess that's the bit that kind of lost me a little bit. Like, I just found it, some of the science stuff just a little bit too sciencey for me. I don't mind a science fiction kind of book, but not so much a sciencey kind of book. How did I feel about the characters? There were only really 2, maybe 3 main characters in the book. I guess 4 if you include the wife who is dead. So there's mainly just the main characters are the father and the son. And I don't know, was I that invested in... I was mildly invested in their lives. I wasn't kind of I didn't feel really drawn to any of the characters. I didn't really dislike any of the characters, and I kind of was happy to get to the end of the book. I kept reading right to the end, of course, and so yeah, I finished the book. What would I recommend it? I guess if you're interested in science and they're the kind of things that you really like, then this might be a great book for you. It did remind me, or made me think about last year I read A Lesson in Chemistry, which is a similar sort of a book in a way, but it's set with a single mum whose husband dies. She's a scientist, or fights her way into the world of science as a woman, and also is raising a child by herself. I found Lessons in Chemistry much more engaging. I guess the battle, or the story of her trying to make her way in a male-dominated environment, she was very engaging, and I was quite engaged with her as a character. I didn't feel as engaged in this book with the father. I don't know if that's just because he was a male character, or just because I just didn't find him as engaging. I didn't find that the story was quite as interesting, I suppose, or as gripping as Lessons in Chemistry. But having said that, it was. I really enjoyed the discussions about environment, about being out in the wild, about their camping trips. I found that quite interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I finished it anyway. So that was my first full finish for January. I do have some more books. Oh, I know I shouldn't be getting any more books, but these ones I haven't bought. These are just on loan to me. So I have got a few books here that are on loan that I will be reading hopefully quite soon. So at the moment I have got The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. So I am wanting to read this as part of my Gothic series, and yeah, I know people talk about this a lot, so I'm really looking forward to reading that one. I am looking forward to reading Grave Fairy Tales, a romantic novel by Esther Marl, maybe. First of all, I thought, oh, great. When I saw, Grave Fairy Tale, I thought this was going to be more of a haunting type book, a book about haunting, but it's not. It's more a romance. But we'll see. We'll see what it's like. It's partially, it says here, it's partially history, partly fiction, and all full of the engaging atmosphere of a past period, the old Germany part of the Grimm's brothers. So I guess that's where the fairy tale bit comes in. So don't really know what to expect from this one, but that one should be quite interesting. I have got a Christiana Brand book, Heads You Lose, to read. This is because I love the golden age of crime, so really looking forward to reading this one. Christiana Brand is an author I haven't really read a lot of, but mad crazy about golden age of crime books, so yeah, really looking forward to that one. I also have another Naya Marsh here to read called Last Ditch. Naya Marsh being a New Zealand kind of golden age crime writer. I have read a few of her books before, so that one will be really interesting as well. I have this is a really interesting, it's called Murder Revisited by John Rowland. Now this is a book that actually looks at 2 real-life cases, murder cases. I think they were, I don't know, when was this? I was just trying to look to see when the book was written. It was first published in 1961, but I think the cases are a lot older than that. So this will be interesting. A very early true crime kind of book. So that will be interesting. At the moment, I am reading 2 books, even though I said I usually only read 1 book at a time. But I have just started reading, I can't even remember what crime book by someone Chester. I'll tell you about it in the next video because I can't remember what it's called. And I am listening to an audio book of The Heir of Redclyff. That is a Victorian novel. I'll tell you about that as well when I finish it. Yes, it'll be interesting. There are some other people on BookTube who are reading that for January, and it was a suggestion, so I thought I would have a listen to it as an audio book, as an easier way than trying to kind of actually source the book. But yes, like I said, I'll tell you about that when I finish it. Yeah, so there's my little stack of books to add to my other stack that I will be reading. But yes, Bewilderment by Richard Powers. I have heard some other people had even said that there was a reference at the beginning or earlier on in the book, in this one, to Flowers for Algernon, and but that's not a book that I know either. So I think that's like must have a very similarish, maybe sort of storyline to this. Yeah, if you like science, I'd say go out and read it. If you're not really into science like me, it's okay. It's okay. That's about as far as I could say for it. But hope everyone's reading something interesting, and I will chat to you later when I have finished my next 2 books.